He's Marvel's answer to DC's Superman. Hey guys, today I'll be giving you the comic book origins of Robert Reynolds, otherwise known as the Sentry. Like I said, the Sentry is pretty much Marvel's version of DC's Superman. Except he's better because his weakness isn't a rock. But Sentry is by far one of Marvel's most unbelievably powerful characters, since it's said that he has the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. Now that's insane. When we see him, first we're introduced to Robert Reynolds, who was waking up from a nightmare that he had had during a storm. It turned out that his nightmare included past memories of him being a superhero. Going downstairs, he fetched a book which told him of one of his many foes, the Void, who was by far his worst enemy. But inside the book, the pages had been hollowed out because there was a bottle in there, a serum that gave him the powers that he had. Readers were also treated to a flashback from when Reynolds first came across this serum. It was also shown him drinking it, and a glowing aura around him was shown. This was primarily when he got his abilities, which consisted of flight, super sense, super strength, invulnerability, super speed, and just unbelievable awesomeness altogether. He even worked alongside his superpowered canine, known as Washdog. I'm not even kidding. But he even learned that he had no past memories of actually being a superhero. But it also explained that in another flashback that we were shown that he was talking to a professor who explained to him that his powers came from the sun, but they were not actually permanent, as they would fade away in time. Going out into the storm, he started to remember the fact that everyone had actually forgotten that he was a superhero. Not only that, but he had no idea why people had forgotten him, or the fact that he forgot that he was a superhero himself. We've shown flashbacks, even more flashbacks. This whole issue is pretty much flashbacks of him visiting his former crime-fighting cohorts. They didn't even recognize the fact that he was a superhero. Characters such as Mr. Fantastic, Hulk, Spider-Man. He was even starting to lose remnants of his own wedding. But he even had a vision of his enemy, the Void, who was supposedly coming forth, since he had woken up in the middle of the night, learning that the Void would potentially return to Earth stronger than ever. But when his wife heard all the commotion downstairs, she came downstairs to find him on the floor with the dog lying next to him, because he had accidentally kicked the dog during his freakout in his vision. She saw the bottle of serum on the floor, and she thought that it was just normal alcohol and started to get angry with him. But eventually, he came to the conclusion that he remembered why he used to be a superhero and didn't remember why. It turns out he had actually faked his death years later, and had used his powers to wipe everyone's mind of the Sentry's existence. Fearing that he would have to do this again, so that the world would be at peace. But even so, the Sentry is the intellectual equal to Reed Richards, is the best friend of the Hulk, and the mentor of Spider-Man. If you ask me, he is just one seriously OP character. I mean, unbelievable. Well guys, that's it for the Sentry, but be sure to like and subscribe, and comment what you think down below. I'll come out tomorrow to give you more origin stories. See you guys.